All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to connect a few dots that might seem completely unrelated at first glance. We're talking 17th century philosophy, some cutting-edge modern neuroscience from Dr. LaRosa, and ancient mindfulness teachings. Why? Well, to figure out what is really going on with our modern distractions. I mean, we live in this era where literally everyone feels their attention slipping away, right? But what if the problem isn't just the apps on our phones? What if it's actually deeply rooted in human nature itself? Let's get into it. To start untangling this, we really need to look at a brilliant thought experiment by the 17th century philosopher Blaise Pascal. This was beautifully highlighted recently by the YouTube channel Pursuit of Wonder. So, Pascal asks us to picture a guy who is just entirely addicted to betting on horse races. He's spending all this time at the track, he's agitated, he's losing cash left and right, and he's constantly chasing that one life-changing win. Which brings us to part 1, the gambling thought experiment. Okay, so imagine a wealthy aristocrat approaches this gambler and offers him a deal. He hands him a massive sack of coins, basically everything he could ever hope to win. But there's a catch. He can never, ever gamble again. Naturally, the man is thrilled, right? He takes the deal. But within weeks, he's absolutely miserable. He actually goes back begging to return the money just so he can play for fake stakes. This is crazy, but it perfectly illustrates a profound truth. He didn't actually want the money, the outcome. What he really craved was the uncertainty. He wanted the game itself as an ongoing escape from his own mind. In his book, Pensées, Pascal theorizes that this right here is actually humanity's greatest plight. We suffer from this deep, underlying existential boredom. Pascal famously writes, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Think about that. According to this philosophy, we absolutely loathe confronting the wretchedness of our own human condition. So what do? We invent endless games, distractions, and problems just to occupy ourselves, away from ourselves. Moving on to Section 2, escaping our existential boredom. Now, what's totally wild about this is how Pascal's 17th century gambling metaphor translates so perfectly into our modern digital world. Just look at this staggering number. According to an analysis by Pursuit of Wonder, over 4 billion people worldwide gamble at least once a year. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's more than half the global population. It just goes to show the massive global scale of our intense desire to avoid sitting quietly in that room alone. And it has just traditional gambling. We've built an entire society around unprecedented access to instant escape. And this fuels what's known as the nihilism loop. It goes like this. To avoid the quiet discomfort of boredom, we distract ourselves. But when those trivial distractions don't fix our underlying unease, because, they never do, we get agitated and start craving even more extreme distractions. We're seeing this play out today with modern prediction markets. People are literally betting real money on everything from random pop culture drama to tragic global conflicts. We're starting to treat the real, serious world as a mere spectacle. A giant casino game, really, precisely so we don't have to feel anything deeply.
All right, let's pivot to Section 3, the neuroscience of distraction.
Let's break down the biological mechanics of this loop. Using some really fascinating insights from Dr. LaRosa, we can actually see how our smartphones act exactly like pocket-sized slot machines. He points out that human attention is basically a constant competition. On one side, you have your directed attention network. That's the part handling your deep, focused work. On the other side is your salience network, which is wired to detect unexpected things, like a loud noise or a sudden social threat. The main issue here: every single notification you get triggers that salience network, instantly hijacking your deep focus. Your brain literally cannot run both systems at once. It's impossible. So, when that mental tug-of-war happens and your deep focus gets broken, your brain briefly slips into a third system, the default mode network. Think of this as your wandering mind. Have you ever been working hard, gotten briefly distracted, and suddenly found yourself unlocking your phone and scrolling an app without even consciously deciding to do it? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, that is your default mode network completely taking the wheel the exact second your attention fractures. And as you might guess, driving this whole process is dopamine. But Dr. LaRosa clarifies something really important. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's actually your brain's priority and anticipation system. It operates on something called a reward prediction error. Basically, if you pull out your phone and get a highly unexpected, positive reward, like a hilarious video or a sudden rush of likes, your dopamine spikes, and it heavily reinforces that exact behavior. Because social media outcomes are completely unpredictable, the apps are functioning exactly like pulling a lever at a casino. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here from Dr. LaRosa is that your lack of focus, it's not a discipline problem, it's a training problem. By constantly consuming these tiny 5-second bursts of highly novel stimuli, you're actively optimizing your brain's plasticity for a short attention span. You're training it to be distracted. And over time, this fragmented attention degrades your working memory. It makes it so much harder to hold multiple complex concepts in your head at once, which ultimately just destroys your capacity for deep reasoning.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Section 4. Reclaiming your stolen attention.
The incredibly good news is that neuroplasticity works in both directions. We can intentionally, biologically reclaim our attention. Dr. LaRosa recommends 5 specific, actionable steps to recalibrate your neural networks. Number 1, disable your cellular data for certain apps to break that constant, immediate availability. Number 2, get some muscular exercise. This actually physically increases activity in your prefrontal cortex. 3, practice mindfulness meditation to actively train out distractions. 4, prioritize your sleep to replenish your brain's energy reserves. And number 5, bringing it right back to Pascal here, you have to practice boredom. You literally have to allow yourself moments of silence to reset those overloaded circuits.
Which flows perfectly into our final part, Section 5, Healing Through Mindful Presence.
So while biology definitely provides a mechanical fix, we still have to address the spiritual root of Pascal's boredom. I mean, why are we running away so desperately in the first place? In a profoundly moving video shared by the Plum Village app, the late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh gets right to the emotional truth behind our habits. He says, we consume not because we need to consume, but because we don't want to go home and touch the suffering inside. It hits hard, doesn't it? Our constant scrolling, our overeating, binge-watching TV, these are just heavy shields we use to avoid facing the raw reality of our own human condition.
That means the true solution to our chronic distraction isn't just tossing our phones in a drawer and white-knuckling our way through the day. According to the teachings of the Buddha, it's about actively generating the energy of mindfulness. By using really simple, accessible tools like mindful breathing or mindful walking, we create an anchor for ourselves. And that anchor gives us the courage we need to finally embrace and heal the pain we've spent our entire lives running from. Because at the end of the day, you really can't heal what you refuse to look at.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. Instead of endlessly playing these trivial games in our modern digital casino, maybe the true wager of life is betting on something sincere. Ask yourself, what could you discover about your own life, your purpose, and your deep capacity for peace if you finally stopped gambling, faced your existential boredom head-on, and simply sat quietly in a room alone? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found these concepts as fascinating as I did, I highly, highly encourage you to check out the incredible sources we use today. You can dive deeper into the philosophical side with Pursuit of Wonder, get more into the neuroscience with Dr. LaRosa, and explore the beautiful mindfulness teachings from Plum Village. Reclaim your attention, guys. It's yours. Catch you next time.
Getting to the heart of the matter isn't always easy, but here we always look for the essence. Thank you for your time and your curiosity. Subscribe for more answers, and as always, thanks for watching.